Greetings to all. You're watching the Way to Live YouTube channel, where we help you to empower yourself and transform your life. One of our subscribers has asked an intriguing question. How long does a departed soul take to be reborn? Let's explore some common beliefs about rebirth. Some believe that a person immediately takes a rebirth after death. Others say that a soul must first attain peace before it can be reborn. Some traditions suggest that rebirth depends on karma. A soul must wait for the right body based on its good or bad deeds. Number 4, certain beliefs say that a soul remains as a wandering spirit for a period. Some say that 16 days, some 3 months, or even 6 months or a year before transitioning into the next birth. Many spiritual philosophies state that birth and death continue until the soul attains liberation. We call it as mukti. But what if I told you that all of these ideas are based on human perception of time and space? The belief that a soul takes rebirth only after attaining peace is true, but the way we measure time in this process is not how a soul experiences it. Let us understand the truth about the time and the soul. Let's first understand two fundamental truths. Number one, a soul is not bound by any conditions. Please understand. It can choose whether to be reborn or not. Some souls explore higher realms as non physical energy instead of returning to a body. There are no conditions, there are no insistence. Existence is based on unconditional love. There are no rules forcing a soul to take rebirth. Please understand. Number two, souls do not experience time like we do. See, we see time as past, present, and future happening in a straight line, linearly, correct? One by one. But for souls, everything exists all at once. They experience only one eternal moment. If you understand this clearly, then you will be clear about the concept of time taken by soul for rebirth. To make this easier to understand, let's use a simple example, the clock analogy. Imagine you have a clock at home, okay? The seconds keep ticking normally, but the time never changes. It always shows 1 p.m., 1 minute, 1 second, all the time. Let us assume, okay? So even though the clock moves, the time itself is frozen in that moment. You do not age, you simply exist unchanged forever. Now imagine you start playing a video game called Human Life. You chose a character, let's say you chose the name Raghu. The moment you start playing that video game, an artificial timeline is created within the video game. The game begins counting for 1 second, so 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and so on. Time moves forward within the game. After playing for 30 minutes, let's say for example, you stop the game, the time vanishes. But when you look at the clock, it still shows 1 p.m., 1 minute, 1 second. No time passed outside of the game. The time you experienced was only inside the game. True or not? This is exactly how a soul experiences its life. Life is like a pre recorded movie. Soul exists in only one eternal moment. But when a soul's light, which is spirit, enter a body, they experience an illusion of time, just like a pre recorded movie. See, think of a DVD, okay? A movie. The entire film already exists, beginning, middle, and the end. True. But when you play it, you experience it as if it is happening in real time. Correct? You might say, I'm 30 minutes into the movie, 45 minutes are left in the movie, etc. But in reality, the whole movie already exists. You're just watching it scene by scene. Correct? Similarly, a soul projects itself into a destiny, creating an experience called physical reality. The body has its own intelligence, the mind follows the earth rules, and time seems to move from the past to future. But once the life ends, once the soul withdraws from the game, time vanishes. It returns back to that one eternal moment called now. And its realization will be the time was just an illusion. The past, present, and future all existed at the same time. The soul always the soul was always in one eternal moment. So the souls can take birth in any time period. For example, many believe a soul must take rebirth in the future. For example, if someone dies in 2025, they assume they will be reborn in 2026 or later. Correct? But this is not true. Since past, present, and future all exist together, a soul can choose any timeline. For example, there are realities where Jesus Christ is still alive, Lord Krishna is still alive. There are versions of Earth where the dinosaurs have just evolved. The future also happening right now in a parallel reality. Is it confusing for you? Let's use a simple movie analogy to explain this. Imagine the movie Mission Impossible, acted by Tom Cruise, is releasing worldwide today. Okay. In some countries, the movie has already started. In other countries, it is just beginning. Some theaters are halfway through the film. Some have just finished it. Even though everyone is watching the same movie, different people are experiencing different parts at the same time, correct? Likewise, a soul can choose to be reborn in any timeline, the past, present, or future, because everything exists all at once. So, what are the key takeaways from this video? Souls do not experience time as we do, they exist in one eternal moment. The second key takeaway is rebirth is not a necessity. A soul can choose when or if it wants to return. It is up to the soul's free will. The third is past, present, and future exist simultaneously. Souls can take birth in any period. I know this might be difficult to grasp at first, but when you listen again and again, you'll get the essence. Do you now understand, at least in a basic sense, that souls do not experience time the way we do? It's fine then. If you have any questions, type them in the comment section. If you'd like to discuss personal life issues, you can book a counseling session with me. Message me on WhatsApp. Text only. Please avoid calling, and I will allocate a time for you. You're always loved, supported, and guided. You're never alone. Thank you for your time and be blessed.